Hey everybody, welcome here today to ACC Today, and we are doing another Christmas episode, a Christmas prep episode. And today I've got my dear friend and coworker Marlis Hansen with me. There she is. And
Hello, hello.
Marlis, it's Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming. Wow.
I know, right? We've been talking about this all year about how, man, COVID cannot last till Christmas.
No.
And here
And
we
here
are.
it is.
Yeah, these are difficult days. You know, it's good to talk to different people to get their perspectives on Christmas, and because there's lots of different people that are watching this, and some people have it all figured out, and other people have a hard time through Christmas, and we just want to encourage them with this. So start by telling us one of your maybe Christmas traditions. Do you have any Christmas traditions?
Christmas traditions. Wow. So my kids are probably laughing at the top of their lungs right now. I'm not big on traditions of any kind, just mainly because I find I either tend to forget or the calendar goes so fast that I missed out.
Right.
But so growing up, we didn't have a lot of traditions in our home, but I think you find that just something that you happen to just do over and over all of a sudden becomes a tradition. Yep. So I did carry one of them over into our home, raising our kids, and that was to play the Elvis Presley Christmas album when we decorated the tree.
Well, there you go.
And now it's a tradition. My kids cannot decorate their trees without playing Elvis Presley. So.
Hello, blue Christmas without you.
You got it.
Right, that's right. That's nice. So that's what they do. I'm trying to think of Christmas traditions we have, and I'm sure one of them would be our kids aren't with us. Emily will be with us this Christmas Eve, but the rest won't. But we always would open one gift on Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big thing. And
that's a good one.
Be careful which gift you opened, right? Like you didn't want to open what you thought was going to be the highlight gift of the year.
That's right, because then it's all over.
You didn't want to open like a dud gift. So it was a trick to choose the right gift.
Yep.
So tell us, when it comes to Christmas, are you kind of person that gets all pumped and jazzed up for Christmas or not?
No, I'm not. My kids were so proud of me this past week because I actually hauled the Christmas decorations from this little storage garage we have to the cabin. They couldn't believe it. It wasn't even December. So no, when you were talking about traditions, I was thinking about traditions. And, I think traditions can be good for us in that they kind of have a way of grounding us in a crazy world, crazier than normal this Christmas. And they remind us of where we came from, and that our upbringings remain with us, the good and the bad of that. And we were talking the other day about getting older, right? We said how getting older can be kind of a bummer, but it has some great perks to it too, right? And one of those perks for me has been learning more about how God created me and about how I'm wired. And so one thing I've learned in this aging process is to admit to myself early on in December, I have to admit to myself that I will struggle mentally and emotionally at some point throughout the Christmas season. I inherited something called major depressive disorder from my dad. So as a child in early December or so, he would start off trying to get excited because, we were little and we were ramped up with Christmas concerts and all that stuff. And he'd work really hard to get excited with us and to try to carry that cheer. But by a week or so before Christmas, he just couldn't do it anymore. And depression would overtake him. And then he would get really anxious and, why were we spending so much money, at Christmas? That's not what Christmas was about. But he just would get really in a really, really hard place. Yeah. And as a child, I thought he was just an old Scrooge. I just thought, come on, Dad, get in the Christmas spirit. What's wrong with you? But as I aged, I realized that December was a black month for Dad's depression. And I won't even try to psychoanalyze that statement, but it just was a reality each year. With the inherited nature of this disease, I too often find that December, some point in December, I'm going to struggle with the depression that I've inherited. And as a believer, I used to carry real guilt over that, because Christmas is supposed to be the time for believers to dance, you sing, you celebrate. What's better than the birth of the Savior, right? So I thought, what was wrong with me? I took it like a faith failure, like I guess my faith wasn't strong enough, or I really didn't understand the gift. I really didn't understand how great the gift was of Jesus. Because if I did understand, then I would feel like dancing and singing, and that kind of thing through Christmas too. But as I've matured,
well, I think a lot of
go
people
ahead.
can feel that way, and you know, just like you're saying, this is supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, and yet people can feel just really dark and heavy with depression. It doesn't look like a Hallmark movie, and
No,
everybody's not smiling all the time and feeling lovely and great, and that
mhm,
spirit of Christmas. And then you're right,
exactly.
because it's so heightened, the distance between what's expected and what's reality grows.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be worse this year.
Yeah.
I think maybe with COVID, it's going to be magnified this year, because people are going to maybe be, having to make the choice to be away from those who would normally be maybe an encouraging place for them, or, family that support them in their tough times or whatever. So
Yeah.
COVID's going to, I think, yeah, magnify some of those struggles.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. So as I've matured, I've learned, a big thing I've learned is to give myself grace in this season, in this celebration, in this. So a big part of my preparation for Advent and Christmas is actually reminding myself to give myself grace.
Hmm.
Grace that I will probably have depressive struggles sometime throughout December, and grace to not want to attend every Christmas celebration. I've got friends that their calendar, they ramp it up right from the 1st of December. And that's a big part of the Christmas celebration for them, is attending every festival or concert, and those sorts of things. And I like to do a little bit of that, but I give myself grace that I might not be, attending all of those types of things.
Right.
But I've also learned in that the vital importance of filling myself with God's truths
Hmm.
throughout this time as well. Probably more so than ever, I find I need to celebrate with other believers. So I try to attend every worship service I possibly can. Sometimes I know some Christmases I've sat at the worship services and just cried, you
Hmm.
know, but that's where I needed to be. I needed to be reminded of who my God is, who I am in Him, that who He is has not changed, and that this too shall pass. That's all those sorts of things. And just being with fellow believers and worshiping Him, I find that those truths come easier. They come in a little easier. I also dig into my Bible studies and devotions a lot more, as much as I can during that time. I know for anyone who's struggled with depression, they probably also know that concentration and the ability to read and those sorts of things tend to become very difficult. So
Yeah.
whatever that might look like, we're so blessed, today with our internet, like to be able to just, okay, I can't read, but I can put on an app, right, that will
Yeah.
read the scriptures to me, maybe with some worship music in the background, or, so there's other ways that we can just remain in the truth
Yeah.
um, of the season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so good, Marlis. That's such good wisdom, for people that are yeah, that are just looking for help to get through some of those darkest days.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the third thing, I think it probably is the most important thing of it all, is I try to get outside of myself as
Mm,
much as possible. So as much as you may not feel like doing some things and stuff, sometimes our heads is the noisiest place, that we can be. So one thing, when our girls were growing up, I used to take them, each one of them, shopping for a Christmas shoebox, right?
oh, nice.
They each got to go individually to do that. And now I do that with my grandchildren. And I love it because it's hard to get one-on-one time with them. So it's one-on-one. And then we talk the whole time about, like, who do they think might get this box? Do you think that girl or boy knows Jesus? Do you think they'll come to know Jesus
Yeah.
because of this box? So that's one thing I do, during, and also I force myself to be more in tune with the struggles that other people are having during this time as well.
Yeah.
Because my depression struggles can feel large, but sometimes just all you have to do is just reach out, look around you, and step into somebody else's world for a little while. And then gratitude, right, sometimes can help to just replace those feelings of depression, stuff like that.
Well, that's so much good practical stuff, Marlis. And I know when I first asked you about doing this video, you weren't interested in doing it. Because I think this very thing, you said, I don't have a really pretty Christmas story,
Yeah.
but you have an honest Christmas story, and I just appreciate your vulnerability. And I know that others are going to feel the same thing and are going to feel encouraged because you were brave enough to talk about your own struggles. So thank you so much for doing that.
Oh, thanks, Tim. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.